So last class we have seen the two different surfaces. Professor, I think last message is just they left for Amurdapuri or something like that. The Cochin. But we don't know. The message, it's very difficult to understand. Something like 11:39 MSW visit completed successfully. Professor Anku left for Food Science Department along with the Vijay. The next message within 5 minutes, and NAC peer team leaves campus for Kochi now. We don't know. Somebody left yesterday 5 o'clock. Somebody left night. Then somebody, we don't know. Now still somebody remains here. Or very difficult to understand. Okay, Professor. Go ahead, no problem. Hello, students.
Yes, sir.
Just
Yes, sir.
sure. Sorry, I was JC sir came. Okay, you know that NAC visit going on. You know, you people knew that.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but it got over, so I got free. So that's what I do not want to miss you. Okay, ma, we will continue.
Yes.
So crack, I told two kind of resemblance will be there in any cracking surface. I told you, if you take something like, let us say this is cracked surface, you can see this thing is the continuation. This is the surface. The another one is completely this one. Okay, so this is crack. This is fracture. Okay, so this is the what critical length. Okay, this will take longer time. This will take longer time, but this will take, no time. That means what? Nano time. That means fraction of second things will happen from here to here, but this will take years, or sometimes months, because it's a growth. So that's what you can see. Two types of surface finishes you can see in the fractured thing. That is what it is here. Okay, you can see two different types of thing. Okay, this and this. Yeah, fractured this one. So last class actually we have seen these are all the different crack growth mechanism. Crack growth mechanism means how the crack can grow. What are all the possible ways? One is cyclic loading, because of the cyclic loading. That is called fatigue. Then SCC, okay, corrosion. That means SCC means what? Corrosion. In that corrosion, you have seen three variants, isn't it? No, active path dissolution, hydrogen embrittlement. Then third one is something that I will come to that. Then creep actually aging. Okay, aging issue. Creep means longer duration strain, aging issues. Then combination of these things. Okay, so these are all the things. Then I told the difference between fracture and rupture, all these things. Okay, some people the brittle fracture cleavage, we can say. A fracture, the ductile fracture, people can say it's a rupture. These are all the common terms people used to use. And I told you very clearly how the fatigue growth usually happen, expand the crack, something like that. This was explained. Something like initially you will find a crack. Okay, that's a crack. Initially you will find there is a crack. Okay, this is the crack. So you are applying load here, maybe mode 1. So what will happen? So this is the complete. Here you have crack. Here you are applying the load. So the zoomed view only it is here. Okay, zoomed view only left side you can see. So once you apply the load, this is the again let us sinusoidal load. You keep on increasing. Here you can get average stress. Whereas in the vicinity of the crack front, this is here, you will get the stress concentration. Stress concentration or maximum stress you will get. Stress concentration means maximum stress you will get. What is that maximum stress? Once you see the stress strain graph, okay, in the stress strain graph, this is what it is, the ultimate stress, sigma ultimate. This is sigma yield. So all these averaged locations, this here and all, you can see the top picture, you will get the stress less than sigma y. But whereas in the crack tip, this zone, definitely it will touch the ultimate one. Okay, that is what it is. Here I put. Okay, ultimate. So ultimate means what? Failure will happen. How the failure happen? I told you, no. Okay, in the crack surface, failure is happening like this, 45 degree. Then complementary, complementary, complementary. Then the surface will come here. Likewise, then it will unloading, sharpening. Then okay, zone, then failure, then crack expansion, then sharpen. This is the process, keep on going years and years. Then only it will reach a critical length. Critical length means something somewhere we don't know. It may be a the crack might have grown up to here. After that, a small disturbance, suddenly you will get failure. So once you examine these two surfaces, you can see here the growth surface, you can see the fracture surface. Is it understood by you? Is this concept, whatever I told,
Yes,
have
sir.
you realized it?
Yes,
sir.
Okay. That's about, this is the fatigue growth model. Okay. Whatever I explained in a different picture or notations, it's been explained. But the common theory is what I said. In the meantime, I told you striations, beach marks, all those things part of the fatigue induced crack. Then corrosion. Okay. Corrosion also cause crack enlargement or crack growth. So I told you corrosions, we have seen three things. One is active path dissolution, hydrogen embrittlement, and film induced cleavage. So we have seen last class. Okay, why each cases, how it happened, all these things we have seen. Okay, now we have to see the creep. This is where we stopped in the last class. So now today, firstly, we are going to see the creep. How the creep is actually, involving in the crack growth. Creep is involving in the crack growth. So I told you creep is a time and temperature dependent deformation. Time and temperature dependent deformation, which occurs when the material subjected to load for a prolonged period of time. This is important. Prolonged period of time. If the material creeps, even though the load remains constant, okay, extension will continue to increase. That means, okay, I have a load, the beam got bent, okay, over the period. Okay, expansion happens. Load may be constant from here to here. After that, no increment load, but still you will get additional deformation over the period, not immediately. This is instant displacement. This is okay, permanent or it's something like prolonging displacement. But in the magnitude compared to this one, this is much less. Okay, but this will cause sometimes failures. We have to be very careful. So creep damage is often manifested in terms of nucleation of voids or holes at microstructural inhomogeneities which grow and coalesce to form cracks. That means this is internal mechanism. So if you see a material, okay, this is the molecules or atoms, isn't it? No. I'm just indulged this one. Okay. So once you apply load, this is in the deformed condition means, each creep will have a kind of forces underneath. So that force, internal force, or the molecular attraction, or the distraction force, over the period of time, some adjustments will happen. Because of that, the displacement will happen. This displacement, what will happen? It will make some cracks. Okay. Once that crack comes, okay, sufficient, no? Then again, rainwater will go inside, or a fatigue nature of things will happen inside. That will start the growth of the crack. The growth of the crack. That's what. Since the crack growth generally proceeds from the surface, obvious. So component life can be further affected due to corrosion. Why corrosion? This fellow made, creep fellow made corrosion. Creep fellow made the corrosion. Contribution of crack to crack growth depends upon operating temperature, holding time, loading frequency, type and magnitude of loading, mechanical properties, and microstructure of the component. So many things are involved, isn't it? No, not one reason. So many things are involved. Okay, I have a displacement. I have the displacement because of the creep. But this displacement is depending upon temperature, holding time of my load, loading frequency, because keeping loading, holding time. This is holding time, type and magnitude of loading. What type of loading? Is it like this, or is it like this, or is it like this? Okay, we don't know. Mechanical properties, then material properties, isn't it? No, what is the, how the bond strength are taking place in the material level, and microstructure. Okay, how that structure, is it FCC structure or BCC structure? These are all interior material science technology. Normally, you didn't have that much experience when you deal with materials, because that itself an ocean. Material science is an ocean. It's a separate branch of study in MTech level. Material science. Okay. So corrosion fatigue. Okay. Now it's how it's a combined fatigue. Now you have seen creep fatigue. Now corrosion fatigue. That means a combination of corrosion and fatigue. You know separately how the corrosion takes place. You know separately how a fatigue will cause problems. Then these two things adds, what will happen? If failure is due to combined action of fatigue and SEC, then it is called corrosion fatigue. Okay, then it is called corrosion fatigue. Because already I have a crack. That crack is because further grown into, or corrosion will cause the crack first, then fatigue nature will further increase. How corrosion will start? If you look the microstructure in the grain boundaries, the dissipation of the materials from the the grain boundary, that will cause an additional small slit or kind of discontinuity that is sufficient for crack to further grow. Okay, I hope you understood. So how a crack will form? Sometimes the aircraft is actually you position stationary. You are stationarily keeping the flight. Raining and all may cause SCC. The same aircraft, when you start loading and going, then onset of fatigue corrosion. Okay. So even at cruising altitude, the ambient external temperature is minus 40 degrees generally, where the corrosion is practically inactive. Fatigue is the failure mode for the major part of the problem. Major part of the problem. So a surface is fine. When the surface is getting cracked, because of the SEC. Because of the SEC. Why SEC? Because of rainwater and so many things will fall. If that particular crack is formed, then flight is moving, the crack will go further. This is called combined corrosion and fatigue. Excuse me. Hello. Yeah, may I know who's speaking? Recording? Sir, I'm in a meeting. Can you call after an hour? Please, please, please. Hello, students.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we will
Yes,
continue.
sir.
Yeah. So you understood corrosion fatigue. I understood corrosion fatigue, how it comes.
Sir, only in case of stationary aircraft, sir.
No, that is one example.
Okay, sir.
That is one example. One example, ma.
Okay,
You
sir.
not only related to this one aircraft, which can be anything. But a corrosion will takes when the part is in the atmosphere for quite some time, isn't it? No.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. If we park our car inside the shed, no problem. But our parking lot is outside the thing. No, what will happen? Everything looks like fine. But if the water goes in the when our door and this one, glass, that beading, that rubber beadings.
Yes, sir.
It may go inside, no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because that rubber, that we don't know if it goes, we don't know, because there'll be some holes will be provided in the bottom, but that also might have blocked by some dust gone inside, something like that. Again, this beading over the aging problem, because you are parking your car outside, that beading will become more brittle in nature, so it cannot function properly to hold the water to get inside the door bottom, something. So these are some of the reasons we don't know. Yeah. So how a corrosion takes place, how water goes inside, all these things, it's all practically situations will vary. For aircraft concerned, this is one reason for that. Okay, because you are not
Okay.
only studying this technology for only aircrafts. This can be extended to your fridge, your washing machine, whatever it is useful. Whatever it is useful. If you see, we have kept a board in our office room. It is something like a display board. They have screwed with, it's a plastic board, polyurethane board. While they made a screw for to fix this one, there was a crack. What happened now over the period of 3 years? The crack is keep on growing. It is a good example. Once you come to campus, I can show you. Okay. For some reason, the crack is growing, keep on going. Something, an example I told you some time back. No. Similarly, corrosion also will take place when you have a kind of, suppose you are not taking your motorbike for over the period, then suddenly you are taking something like that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so another this thing is called liquid metal embrittlement. Okay, LME. So the corrosive degradation of metals in the presence of certain liquid metals such as mercury, zinc, lead, and cadmium. Okay, corrosion degradation of materials in the presence. How the material will getting in, these kind of materials will present in a material. Okay, corrosion degradation of metals. Okay, because of presence of what? Certain liquid metals. Liquid metals. Okay, what is that liquid metal? Mercury, zinc, lead, something like that. How it gone inside? How it gone inside a material? We will see the reason. Very small amount of liquid metal can cause embrittlement, which may be introduced due to how it got inside, which may be introduced due to manufacturing processes such as brazing, soldering, welding, heat treatment, or hot working. Because of these reasons, these kind of materials might have penetrated inside the main material. Okay, so in much the same way that a localized corrosion event is needed to initiate SAC. So local chemical attack is usually precursor for LME. So these entrapped the materials will cause corrosion inside. That means something like they will give an additional pressure and they will try to come out from the material over the period. They will open it up, and that particular openings the water stagnation may take place, or the atmospheric things may it not necessarily raining. Even the like America, Canada kind of things, lot of icing and all also causing a lot of problems. So LME shows a very strong effect of stress intensity and a rapid transition from slow to rapid crack growing, liquid metal improvement. So it got strong effect, okay, of stress intensity. Surface treatments may utilize the enhanced resistance of LME. So some kind of surface treatment, once you have to take some kind of precautions when you do all the process, the gases getting inside the material will be minimized or protected. So these are all the things. Now fracture mechanics, in the sense I told you very beginning that the brittle fracture and ductile fracture. Okay, so the majority of service failures occurs by ductile fracture. Service failure means what? Over the period. Brittle fracture and all, it will fail quickly. But ductile fracture, it's not like that. Over the period, it will grow, then only it will fail. That's called service. A flight is in service, car is in service, fridge is in service. Service in the sense over the period. We could not notice it, but suddenly something may come out. This is the service condition. So most of these exhibit very little over plastic deformation, and hence they are brittle from engineering point of view. I told very clearly, we have made so many statements on this. A ductile failure like a brittle. Why? I have given you so many reasons for explanations for this nature. So fracture is a very fast process. So there are two things now. One is cracking. One is fracture. I told fracture is very fast. A typical fracture fast is speed. When it is something like a cleavage fracture, that means fracture is happening on brittle materials. The speed is 1660 meter per second. Can you imagine? It's something like a rocket speed. What is the ductile failure? On ductile material, how this fracture speed? 500 meter per second. 500 meter per second. 500 meter per second. Ductile, see, I told both the material fracture will happen, but ductile material slightly one third later, but still this is very fast. This is second phase of failure. Okay, first is growth state. We are not talking now that we are talking about fracture. Fracture means fast growth, fast nanosecond things will happen. But there again, the difference in speed for brittle fracture and ductile fracture. Brittle fracture, there is no growth. Brittle fracture is a fracture, but still it fractures. Ductile fracture also fractures when after growth. So that is what we are comparing. Excuse me. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Am I speaking to the Professor Sivakumar, sir?
Madam, I'm in a meeting. Is there anything urgent?
No, sir. No, sir. I just wanted to talk to you, sir. I'll call afterwards.
Right. Okay. So this is the comparison of in that sense. Okay. You can see here brittle fracture. Brittle fracture. Now, brittle material. What are the characteristics when it gets fractured? Because you should, end of the day, as an engineer, you should classify or you should identify, okay, what type of materials. That kind of knowledge you should know. So what is that? Brittle fracture, brittle material, brittle fracture. That's a cleavage. Cleavage. Brittle fracture we are calling cleavage. Cleavage is splitting apart of atomic planes. Okay, atomic planes. From grain to grain, the preferred splitting plane is differently oriented, causing a facet fracture. These are all kind of pure material science languages. Faceted fracture. Okay, so the facets are flat and therefore good reflectors of incident light. You can see here, this is the brittle material. This is the atoms. Okay, atom. It's very small, very, very small. Now, okay, brittle material is breaking into two pieces. Okay, from a crack because of the load. So that crack is going inside the atom. You can see here, the black color one. Okay, so when it is cutting, once you separate, and it is making facets. Facets means light emitting surface finishing. Okay, so that is a peculiar character of breaking in the brittle fracture. All those things you can see only through highly magnified microscopes. That means crack, okay, cracking the atom and going. It's not cracking like a weakest path. Got the point, no? You can see it's cutting an atom and going. Atom surface and going. These once you separate it, you can see a facets. Facets means there's a highly light emitting surface finish you can see on the fractured surfaces. So there are two things actually here saying. Okay, this kind of brittle fracture, there are two things. My God, I don't know why so much of phones are. Hello. சார் நான் ஒரு கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கிறேன், ஒரு 1 hour கழிச்சு கூப்பிடுறீங்களா? Right. So for the brittle fracture, there are two types. One is transgranular. Okay, another one is intergranular. Transgranular, intergranular. So most metals fail by transgranular fracture. What is transgranular means? It is cracking the atom and going. Okay, it is cracking the atom and going. What is intergranular? The cracking happens in the interfaces. In the interfaces, that's a difference. This is the one more possible crack. This is intergranular. Transgranular means, okay, this fellow might have gone like this. This is transgranular. So most metals intergranular fracture is an exception rather than a rule under monotonic loading. It's all the loading conditions also will make something like, monotonic loading means the loading is somewhat, okay, somewhat fashional things, something like monotonically loading. So the crack will find the weakest surface and grow. But whereas a hazard loading, something like that you make, no, then you will get transloading because it will not look the weakest path. It will cut the atoms into pieces and goes. Okay, so these are all the things. So this transgranular, intergranular is the subspecification of the brittle fracture. Brittle fracture. But we are more concerned about ductile fracture because most of our materials are ductile in nature. Mainly fracture mechanics we are applying on the ductile fracture. So what is a ductile fracture? How it really happens, or what is the specification or the in-depth of the things? Let us see now. Engineering materials contain a large number of second phase particles. Now we will see what is first phase, second phase, all these things. Okay, you take an alloy, okay, metals. It can be a ductile material. It is made of alloys, no, 2, 3, 4 different materials. You take steel, zinc, sulfur, magnesium, silica. So many things will be inside in any material in that sense. So certain materials you are calling primary phase, secondary phase. We will see all those things, but I'm telling you a small hint I'm giving you right now. So what is that? This particular second phase material, here you can see the second line. Okay, large particles. That means the size is 1 to 20 micrometer. Micrometer means what? 10 power minus 6. But that's called, we are calling large particles. Visible in optical microscope. Usually these are alloying elements. I told you, alloying elements. Alloying elements. Not essentially to the strength of the materials. But these fellows will not give strength to your metal. That is a different story. The large particles size is 1 to 20 micrometer. I could see through microscope. Fine. These particles are there in a material. It is one of the alloying element. Why I need fillers. Essentially, these things are all not for strength. This is a filler. You take a material. Okay. I may have these materials like this. 1 to 20 micrometer. This may be fillers. This filler will not take strength. Intermediate particles. Okay, intermediate particles. What is that? These are all intermediate particles. What is the size roughly? 50 to 500 nanometer. 10 power minus 9. Micro means 10 power minus 6. This you cannot see usual optical microscope. This you have to see electron microscopes. These are all compounds for alloying elements, of course, essentially for strength. These people only really have the strength taking character or giving strength to this particular material. The third one is small particles. What is that particles called? Precipitative particles. Any alloying materials, you can see these kind of subparticles inside, which is about 5 to 50 nanometer, purposefully developed by heat treatment and aging. These fellows are all created inside over the aging or heat treatment, because the alloys are all making by a lot of huge treatment process. No, because of that, these components might have formed or getting inside the things. So what is their help? To achieve good yield strength. To achieve good yield strength. When you have this particular delta Y, this is significantly because of the precipitative character of the material give you very good sigma Y. That's a yield strength. Yield means what? Stretchability. So large particles are brittle, cannot accommodate plastic deformation, okay, of the surrounding matrix. Voids are formed even for small plastic deformation. So the large particles, once you apply load, they will move away because they cannot stretch. They themselves cannot stretch. So they simply move. So they will cause some voids. So large particles can determine the instant and location of ductile fracture, but they do not play a role in the process of ductile process. But fracture is induced by intermediate particles. Fracture is introduced in the intermediate particles. They lose, okay, coherence with the matrix and tiny voids are formed. This is the crack. Okay, you have big particles. You will have small particles. Then you will have precipitate particles. But the crack is happening because of the intermediate particles. So because of the huge load, they will have some kind of discontinuity that only causes the problem. You can see here. Okay, you can see here. The ductile fracture occurs due to substantial plastic deformation of the crack tip. Obviously, substantial. First, large particles let loose or break, forming widely spaced holes close to the neck. So here they will make a hole, large particles. Okay, finally, holes are formed by myriads of small particles. How these are all forming? Myriads by the small particles. Because of this, its irregularity, the fracture surfaces diffuses, okay, and their character is dull gray light emitting character of the surface. So these are all some of the microscopic aluminum alloy, this one. Okay, these are all the, some particles. Okay, these are all some particles. These are all some particles. So these are all big particles. These are all the something like secondary particles. These are all some precipitating particles. Similarly, some other things. So with that, we are going to stop today. Is it fine today?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, nobody's saying fine.
Fine.
Somebody say okay, sir. Somebody say yes, sir.
Fine, sir. Fine, sir.
Okay. Any more doubt, ma?
Sir, I have a question.
Please, ma.
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, you showed the fracture speed, sir.
Hmm.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Can you hear you?
Sir, you showed the fracture speed now, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. How are they calculating those values, sir?
There are a lot of techniques, pa. Now you are living in a world like, hmm? The something like, so many ways you can think of, 1,600 meter per second kind of a fracture. Techniques are there, no, ma? We are living in 21st century, no? The methodology you can't imagine. The sound which is causing, or so many techniques you can engage to detect the speed of 1,550, something like that. It's not big nowadays. It's not a big deal, because so many kind of techniques using X-rays, or some kind of beta gamma rays, or some kind of a wave is passing from one place to another place. So many things are there, technology are there. With that, one can detect the speed.
Yes, sir.
There are too many techniques are there. A material science, once you're getting, it's an ocean. Okay, it is an ocean.
Yes, sir.
It's something I cannot control. Suppose it's an onset of crack. Okay, the next moment, what? The crack will happen. But in between, I cannot stop the load.
Yes, sir.
You got the point, no? That kind of things, still it is
Yes,
a
sir.
very tough thing. Once the crack starts, okay, I can cut down this to that way impossible. Even people are trying, but we can measure speed from one point to another point. But at the moment of cracking, the fracture taking place, can I stop the machine? No way.
No, sir.
That is very, very critical. Because these things are all very important when you do research, post-cracking behavior. There people are really struggling to control the crack, the onset of the crack. Any more doubt, ma?
Sir, regarding the project, can we meet today?
Not today, ma. Today, Monday we will see, on, ma.
Okay,
I
sir.
have so many meetings today. NAC parallelly going, and now 1 hour I got a gap. That's what I'm taking, ma. I have meeting in the afternoon, pa. I'm so tired also. Can we see Monday? Very serious things. We'll start on Monday onwards.
Okay, sir. I'll convey. Yes, sir.
Monday onwards, we will be very serious on the our project. But whatever task is given to you, you keep on going with that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Then otherwise, how do you feel this fracture class, pa? Still, we haven't gone through real tough part of the fracture.
Yes, sir. We have
Sir, it
been
is
talking about
interesting, you can say,
theories,
sir.
sir.
There I will make you to interesting part, because once you get into the mathematics on this, slightly you may get bored. Energy, stress, all those things. But learning fracture is really important.
Sir.
And is it interesting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It is interesting.
Anything,
You can say some new
any
aspects
things
are
to be
there.
changing, tell me immediately. We will change it. Not a problem.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
that's not. You can free to tell your opinion, things, your views. We will change it. That's not absolutely no problem. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
See you in the next class.